Okay, so I've just clicked the live button, so it's waiting to see if it pops up on the feed so I can see the comments and stuff. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'm liking the podcast like this a little bit because it's nice and interactive, but also I want to celebrate that we got 50 subscribers now finally. So I know it's
Nice.
not like you guys are like thousands upon thousands, but I'm happy that it's 50. I'm like
No,
getting up
you got to
down.
start. You got to start somewhere.
Do you know
Absolutely.
what? Me and the missus were talking about this as well, and it's like she was like, "Oh, even I have more followers than that on Periscope." It's like, yeah, but you have boobs. You
But
have boobs.
I don't flaunt my boobs
I know, but
on stream.
it's just when she was doing some streaming bits, it's like you have boobs.
Mm.
Me and Edge are two middle-aged blokes playing some games. Who do you think is going to win?
I mean, if we have moobs, maybe if we get some moobs, it'd be all right.
Yeah. No,
Right then,
don't get
so
Working on
moobs.
makeup.
I think one at the moment I can see the little guy on the screen. So Strife, if you want to set us off.
Grab your knives, grab your fork, and grab your syrup. This is Edge and Strife's Waffle Hour, along with Kay and Dante. Doodly doodly doo.
Well,
I need a
so
jingle. Can you do me a jingle? I want a jingle.
I mean I'm only just now getting into the fact of having a
I'm
little mini.
joking. I'm winding you up completely. You're good.
No, Edge is like, you can take that jingle. I don't want that jingle.
I mean,
Please
it's
take
taken
the
me
jingle.
long enough to have a little PNG tube at a background at this point in time. So um, I'm experimenting with media so much at the moment. So it's been. I mean, eventually I might make my own little custom music. Who knows? Yes. So we've been away for a couple of weeks. I've not done any live streaming or any kind of updates purely because one, I don't know if many people have been aware. We've had a heat wave, and
God, have we
it's
had a heat wave?
hot as
We had a
balls
heat wave?
in any
Yeah.
computer
I
room.
thought I just took the trip to Mordor.
Were you passed out the entire time, Strife? Is that why you didn't know we had a heat wave? You were unconscious.
I didn't realize we had a heat wave. I thought we had just all taken a day trip to Mordor.
Oh yeah, toss it in the fire. No.
Fires of Mount Doom. It's how it felt, seriously. Heat waves in
Yeah.
the UK are no joke. It's because we don't have air conditioning. So there is, and the way our houses are built with brick and insulation, there is no escape from the heat compared to other countries. Like heat waves are way worse here in England than they ever were in Japan. And like it would get to 42 degrees heat in Japan, but there was air conditioning everywhere. So you
Yeah.
could escape from it. You know, you just can't in this country.
It also goes by the humidity of the air. We can't
Mm,
get the sweat can't evaporate off our body because it's too humid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yay for being an
Uh,
island.
yeah. So we on purpose haven't done much podcasting or editing and videos and stuff because A, it's too hot in our rooms to
Uh,
for long period of times do this kind of stuff.
uh-huh.
Also, I don't intend to probably um, complete 007. We've already mentioned this in the previous podcast, so we're waiting for the next games, which me and Swife will mention at the end of the podcast, what we're doing, a little bit about that. Also, we were
Oh,
waiting
which reminds
for.
me, I actually still need to get those yet.
Yes, you do. Also, we're waiting for as well for Swife's Steam Machine. He finally got his over the weekend, and we will do a podcast episode about the Steam Machine and his initial thoughts on it in the next another one. He's not had much time to play around with it, and also predominantly he has been a console gamer for many years. But
I'm a little. No, it's mainly PC as well, so I'm a little bit scared
yeah,
about doing too much with it because you can't do that much with a PlayStation other than just log on and play games. And I feel like I could really break something if I started diving in, so I need a bit more confidence first.
You just
yeah,
tweak. You can't really break it. You can
Try
tweak.
me.
Yeah, you can tweak settings on games and stuff like that. The thing with a PC gaming is a console. You just you put it in the disc and you know it's going to work, right? Because it's geared for that console. But every game, like depending on how much power that game needs, you might have to tweak your settings, like for
Yeah.
certain things down to
yeah,
medium and frame rate and all that kind of thing.
Like I know because I mean, like Edge knows. I play a lot of Phasmophobia as well, and there's a new update out today. But I normally play it on the PlayStation. It is a lot brighter on the PlayStation because it uses the PC settings on the Steam machine, everything is so dark and I am struggling.
Yeah.
I know, like the missus uses NVIDIA overlays. Obviously, I
Mm.
don't get that feature, but I know there's going to be some equivalent of it.
Mm.
I just wouldn't know where to start.
NVIDIA DLSS is your friend.
We'll have a talk about that one because I've got a couple
But
of
yeah,
ideas
but
for
like
you.
if you need any help, like you can, I'm a seasoned PC gamer, so you can always shout me up if you're struggling with anything.
She did help
Like I
me put a
can,
graphics card into my old PC.
yeah, and I can help. I did that with Dante with tweaking his settings recently because his
And they
Oh, yeah.
often
PC
need
is,
setting because the
yeah,
fan will go
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
So if you need any help, just shout up. I can happily help with that.
Oh,
And
this
Yeah.
this thing is quiet as anything.
oh God, it just sounds.
noise.
I just can't justify the price point at the moment, because I already have a
The thing
powerful
is,
PC, you know, so
yeah,
I can't justify
so I
it.
mean,
But
you already had the PC. I
mm,
only had the base PS5 version, base version PS5, and it's like I needed something else. And
mm,
having
mm,
full access to the Steam library, the
mm,
amount of videos of multiplayer games that have come out that me and Edge
yeah,
have sent to each other since I've got it is ridiculous.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Wait
It's
for
like
those
let's play
Steam
this, let's play
sales
this.
as well. The Steam sales are fabulous. They really are
Yeah.
good. Like you can get
Fabulous.
some
Summer
incredible
sales.
games. Summer sales, winter sales. You can get some incredible games for like £3. Like really,
I'm
really
still
cheap.
waiting for
So
Elden Ring and the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC to go on a sale because I am not paying full price for it, considering I've completed it
they
up
will
to
be on a
known amount of
sale
times.
for sure. That'll
Will
be on a
be
sale.
incredible.
I've
So
completed it that many times on the PlayStation. I'm not paying full price for it again.
yeah. So yeah. Once Rife has had a bit of a play around with it more and has tried some of these games with us, which we'll explain a bit more later, we will do another podcast, and Kate and Dante are more than welcome to join us on that as well, just to share
Questions.
thoughts.
I won't know anything, but I will definitely have questions that I want to ask you about it.
Yeah.
That I'm
We'll
curious
probably
about.
not know
So
the answer to them.
maybe
So
not.
questions up front,
We'll just
please.
get like hear your general thoughts, and it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
As someone
Questions
who
up
has
front,
one.
please.
In
So
advance, I'll give you the questions in advance. Maybe.
So this podcast episode is a live edition. The reason why we're doing it live is so that if anyone wants to input, especially on this topic that we're doing today, they're more than welcome to. If they have any questions that they want to raise, so that we can have it maybe in a future episode, also fine. It was worth talking about. I know there's probably thousands of videos at the moment on there. I've kind of spent a bit of time thinking about it, and I know Kate's done some wonderful videos on her channel about the situation, and it's worth looking at her channel to watch those videos. Especially because, you know, as gamers, we're all very passionate about what we love, and if we disagree with something, it's really important to speak up about it. It's not being derogatory or being negative. It's there's sometimes voices need to be said in order to protect what we
It
enjoy.
needs to be heard.
Yeah. So this episode is about the recent changes with PlayStation and with Xbox and maybe even Nintendo, if anything's mentioning there. Obviously, the atmosphere at the moment is they were announced recently that as of January of 2028, and please correct me if I'm wrong, PlayStation will intend to stop doing any physical media for their games going forwards. Currently, the Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be digital only. However, other games coming out currently will still have discs. So Wolverine, for example. However, we don't know what that's going to look like from 2027. If other games might try and follow suit.
They've confirmed all of their first party stuff at the moment. So what's the Intergalactic, the next God of War Lao Fei and Wolverine will all be physical, which effectively confirms those release dates will be in 2027.
Perfect.
So they've already confirmed those 3 games will be physical. Anything else after that, God knows.
Yeah. Now, from our point of views, we all, we're all vary probably a little bit in terms of our experiences. Speaking from my own experience, I grew up on the Commodore 64, so pretty
God,
much
yeah.
had physical media going all the way up for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast. So I've grown up with physical media and gaming effectively for over a few decades now. And I completely get the fear as well with that, because obviously for physical collectors, they're not going to be able to collect and have it on display for memories or for longevity if they want to play it years from now. Those games. Um, I I will let the floor in a moment share their points, but I'm quite concerned because obviously from a gaming standpoint, um, especially if and I know that I'm going to get probably hated on this. If we were to use, say, PlayStation or Nintendo, like eShops as an example, we have lost already probably hundreds of titles that you can't get access to anymore. So the preservation of games is in a bit of a weird spot because obviously, how do you um, quantify, how do you protect games that are going to be coming out in the future if it's stuck in a single market or in a single platform that, yeah, I'll probably word things a bit better, but does anyone want to take their stance or view first in this kind of scenario?
Who wants to go first?
Ain't bothered.
Okay. Well, you already know I'm quite strong standpoint on this. I think Sony have already shown that they can't be trusted
Yeah,
to value people's ownership because literally just was what happened in the news with them closing down PlayStation 3 store. Yeah, they say you can still download your games, but how long that is going to continue is beyond me. But then look at what they did with the was it the 500 movies that people had
yes.
purchased that were just completely removed.
I
No
think they're being
refunds, no
removed in
nothing.
September, aren't they? The thing, I think they've
Yeah,
said.
so Sony have already shown that they cannot be trusted to value the customer, to value customer ownership. I think really this move, I think for people to feel less worried about it, there would need to be better legislation, better laws in place to protect digital ownership, DRM, and all of that. You know what I mean? And they're not there at the moment. It is just a license which you buy, and then that license can be
Um,
revoked at any
yeah,
point.
I'm not being funny. As far as I'm concerned, it's considered theft. In the
Yeah.
plainest terms of it, I have bought something and then I've got it, and then you say, "Yeah, no, you're not having that anymore." It's theft.
Mm.
I suppose
Yeah.
for Swipes, without saying too much, I mean, you're a dad, you have a PlayStation 5. I know your son loves playing Astrobot and other games at the moment. I suppose the pressure for you as a parent will be as he gets older, he'll want to still be obviously be playing these games, and it's I guess for parents they'll probably still will have to go cater to it. The problem I have with it is we just don't know how expensive it's going to get. I mean, they're already doing. I've tried to do games £80 or dollars, depending where you are. Nintendo did it a little bit with some games, and they're kind of stabilizing a bit now, aren't they? They're kind of coming down a little bit. Dante could
Oh, the
probably
rumor I
confirm.
think is Fire Emblem. The next Fire Emblem is going to be $80. That's what I heard.
Oh, don't you! You're killing me.
Yeah,
Stop killing me.
sorry. I heard that they were looking at $80 for that. Don't quote me. I could be wrong on that, but
I
I'm sure
will
I read
rant
that
my ass
somewhere.
off. The fact they don't
I'm
own a Switch
sorry.
2 and then they're going to make it
Yeah,
80, it's like
yeah.
I
Well,
will die on this hill right now.
I mean, I don't think it should be $80, but I certainly would be happier paying $80 for that than I would have been for Mario Kart World.
But it's
I
not
don't
just
think
going to be
that was worth
$80. It's going to
$80.
be $80 and then any extra content digitally.
Season, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
DLC expansion pass or
that's going to
whatever.
happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, and you're going to like he was right, and I'm going to be
I
like,
think
I
the
don't want to be right. I want to be fucking wrong.
I think honestly, with this, I think Sony really opened themselves up to legal action,
Well, they
to
have at the
lawsuit
moment. I'm
action.
pretty sure. Is it Berlin? Is it or Belgium court at the moment
Yeah,
as
yeah.
is suing them at the moment?
Yeah, because effectively there's something called a monopoly, right?
Yes.
Where you are controlling prices, the industry, and there's no competition there. You are monopolizing the market, and that is effectively what they were doing. I watched a video by Jason Schreier. He's got a YouTube channel, by the way, at the moment. It's really insightful. One Take Schreier, and he was talking about actually like why Sony are doing this, and when you actually break down the numbers, it's quite revealing. So I'll throw these numbers at you just because I think they're quite interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously into terms of demonstrated. So obviously games physical, right? That used to
Hmm.
be sold. Let's say a game costs $70, right, in store. The retailer, so game, right? Or
Yeah.
GameSpot, if GameStop is it if you're in the US, the retailer would take a 30% cut of that $70. So the retailer would take home $21 for that game. The manufacturer would take about 5% of the cost of that. So about $3.50. That's all it costs to manufacture a game and distribute it. Obviously, it changes depending on distribution and all of that. That 5% could change. And then Sony, if it's a first party game, would take the remaining percentage. So from a $70 game, so a first party game, Sony would get about $45.50. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they sell that online through their own store, they get 100% of that. So $70 completely. The really interesting thing to talk about, though, is not just their first party, because I don't think they're doing this for their first party titles, because there was leaked numbers on their first party, because Sony at the moment is saying, oh yeah, 85% of our games are actually being purchased digitally, but that number is misleading because that includes digital only games, right? It's not looking at games that are available both
Everything.
digitally and physically. It's looking at everything, and a
Yeah.
lot of indie games and a lot of indie titles are only available digitally, right?
Hmm.
So they were talking about that, but actually, when you look at their first party titles, when this, I think it was during the Activision lawsuit or something, or Sony got hacked, and it revealed the percentage. And actually, their first party titles, like God of War and Last of Us and all of that, 70% of games sold were physical, not digital. So when it comes to first party titles, people prefer to buy those games physically, to physically own them, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at third party publishing, that is where it gets interesting, because when you look at retail and purchasing third party games, so let's say an EA game, right? EA Sports 2 million and whatever. So that game is like $70, let's say in retail store. The retailer again takes 30% cut, $21. Sony take what's called a licensing fee. So they take 50% of that game.
Oh,
$10, about $10.50. Only 15% they make on that third party game if it's sold in a retailer.
sorry.
Manufacturing is still
I thought you said 50% then.
15%, 15%. Manufacturer 5%, so $3.50. And EA make about $35 on that physical game purchased, right?
Yeah.
If it's sold digitally through a third party, that retail fee goes to Sony. So instead of getting only 15%, Sony make 30% on that online digital sale with EA, right? And EA make $49, the remaining 70%. So it is in both Sony's and EA's best interest to sell that game digitally, because they are going to make so much more money.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I don't think they're doing it for first party. They are doing it for third party. Because when you look at that 15% extra profit that they're getting for every single third party title, and then that 100% profit that they're getting for their own first party, because they're not making as many first party titles as they used to,
Yeah.
right? Their games are taking longer and longer to make. So there are less first party titles coming out on PlayStation 5 and probably PlayStation 6 than there were on the PS4, right? It is their third party deals that they're making, their exclusive third party deals that they're making, where Square Enix, with Capcom, with EA, that is going to make them the money when it goes digital. But this is a monopoly because Sony can control the pricing on their store. And one of the benefits of buying physical is, one, you can often get it cheaper because retailers will reduce that price over time. And two, you've got the secondhand trade, which this is completely killing, because if a game is resold secondhand, not a single penny of that goes to the publisher, EA or Sony. It 100% goes to the retailer.
Well, I mean, if you just look at like you said with the pricing, like if we looked at God Eater 3, wasn't it, that me and Strife played a few years back? Like
That
we
is
got it
still full price.
still full price, and we got it for like
It drops down to like £3 every now and again, but it is always, you look at it, 59.99 even today.
yeah. So when you look at it that way, like if you went to a full digital platform, it's like I would say it's very rare to see games go down in price over time. I
Yeah.
mean,
And there's no incentive for them to sell them cheaper.
no,
If there's no competition, there's no incentive for them to offer a sale because it's the only place you can buy it,
mm. My
right?
other concern with it as well is obviously the PS6 is obviously not going to have a disk-based drive. Um, the PS5 Pro, what's going to happen with with them because you had to buy a disk drive separately recently. What was the
Yep.
bloody point? Also backwards compatibility. Like you're not going to have that anymore. So um, a lot of the games that you've bought,
Which will probably kill the secondhand
market.
hardware
Oh,
market
they
because
don't.
people
Yeah,
won't trade in their console, will
and
they?
retro is
Because
expensive as it is as well. So it is
yeah.
killing markets. The thing
Yeah.
that I'm also worried about with the situation is so obviously, as we're aware, the main concern is if they can take the game away, for example, or they can. Someone made a very good point. So let's say it's a really bad example, but let's have a look at Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, that game came out as a hot mess. Yes,
Mm-hmm,
on
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
PS4 and PS5, didn't it? But they then did a load of tweaks and upgrades and they fixed the version. So let's
Yep.
say like 10 years down the line, Sony decide that they want to re-release um, that game. Okay, now I know this is a bad example because obviously it's a more recent game. However, they use they
Tony don't care about that. Look at The Last of Us.
they find an older version of the game, so not the one without all the updates, for example. So you're releasing potentially a defective product that isn't as good as what it was fixed later on. A good one would be Skyrim. So Skyrim was terrible on the PS3 because after so
No
long of
Man's
playing
Sky
it,
is another one.
yeah, it just literally it crashed itself when you loaded up so for too much data, and then they fixed it over time. But because it's such an old game and things get lost and lost over time, they might find a version that just wasn't updated with all the fixes, and then they're releasing it. So customers aren't going to get the very best version of digital things that they were meant to get. Now, that's all conjecture, but it's a good point because with digital things, there's so many versions. But it also means that if they do a version that is inferior, like they might use that version instead. Like there are some games that were released on Xbox and PlayStation and the Switch, and some of them are just not that good, and so they might use that version, and then it's like, well, that one isn't very good. I think Dispatch has one where there's a Japanese version that's been censored, and then the
One of the
American one,
versions was censored. Yeah. Yeah.
and then obviously what happens like years down the line if they use the censored version, you're missing. I mean, again, it's a stupid thing, but you're then not getting the game as it was originally intended for. So
Mm.
it's crazy that you might have a situation where you play a game and then you're not getting the experience that you paid for originally later on in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, online eShops. So we've seen it with Nintendo, with PlayStation, Xbox. They'll have a very large open eShop on one of those eventually as time goes on. And then when they move to a new console, that all disappears. It all stays on the old platform, and then they close it down after a few years. And there was I know it's probably not as relevant, but the Completionist did a video a few years back where they literally got thousands of
Yeah. Was it 3DS games or
yeah,
something or
they
DS
got
games?
loads of gift cards, and then they literally upload the points onto like the Switch, the Wii U, the Wii U, the Wii, I think the 3DS, and they literally bought every single title that they could and put it onto like storage so they could put it to the Game Preservation Museum
Mm.
because there'll be games that just don't exist anymore. And it's something that we've mentioned before in previous episodes of the podcast, where I had vented my frustration of we had an amazing eShop on the PlayStation 3, PS4 and PS5 just never. I mean, each one's just gotten gradually worse and worse because you find titles that have just gone missing, or you're
Mm.
paying more for the same service, because they're putting it behind a paywall. So PlayStation games, for example, they didn't on PS3. You could just buy them. You could buy PS1 games digitally and then have them. But then with I think PS4 and PS5, they put it behind a subscription. Or do you want to
Yeah.
buy some PlayStation games? You've got to pay for it. I don't know if that's changed recently actually, because I think you can.
No, it's still the case. I think you got PlayStation Plus Extra, and then you've got PlayStation Premium
I
plus
think some
Premium.
PS1 games you can now buy, but most of them are
Mm.
all still in behind the subscription. So it's a very scary
Nintendo did
thing.
the same thing as well with the and they released the NES, SNES, N64 on their store.
They've done the same with Nintendo, haven't they? A lot of their e-shops. Are they behind paywalls, Dante? Just clarify me on that. Is it
What,
yeah, do you have to be an online member to access
for
those
the old school
for
stuff,
the
like
retro stuff on
yeah,
Nintendo?
that's a membership with
So
a
you
Right.
have to no,
subscription
you
to
have
the
to pay
online.
more, don't you, as well? You have to be an online member, and then you've got to still pay something extra to have the.
It's more for the more later gens. So I think the NES, SNES, and Game Boy, I think are with the price, but then you've got to boost it up to get the GameCube stuff and the Sega Master System
But
stuff.
there's barely any
Right,
titles
okay.
on there. It's like there's barely like 7 or 8 titles, isn't it, for like GameCube? It's like maybe 10 tops.
I think they're
Yeah,
expanding it each time, but
they
yeah,
very
still.
slowly keep adding to it every month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It.
It's all about licensing as well.
Mm,
Like if they can get the license, like I enjoyed a lot of the Disney Mega Drive games when I was a kid growing up. Could they get the license to those games? Probably not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because Disney own it. So that's the problem as well with
Yeah.
digital, with that kind of thing.
It's frustrating as well because obviously um, we obviously need to talk about the elephant in the room, the reaction with the announcement.
Mm.
Obviously, it has been a bit of backlash from the public, and
Immensely.
then some mocking by Domino's Pizza,
I love
um,
Domino's Pizza's reaction. I thought that was fab.
KFC,
I
um,
missed the Domino's one.
the Domino's.
Domino's with like digital pizza,
They,
like
they're going.
pre-order
They were
and
going to
stuff.
stop doing physical pizzas and just go straight to digital only.
Yeah, it was funny. It
But I
was
think
really good.
apparently their pizza sales went up like 300% during this.
I fucking love it.
Something
Okay,
like that.
that's
They
great.
went up like a massive ton for it.
Yeah.
A load of
Well,
people have been burning them,
a lot of people have been canceling their PlayStation Plus subscriptions as well in
and
mass.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, a lot of people have been doing that, which is
Me too,
understandable
because
completely.
I don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's frustrating because obviously there's a backlash, but Sony have been pretty silent on the matter. The first announcement that they did was about a fight stick. Uh,
Mhm.
But then what's even more crazy at the moment, and this is where it's going to be up in the air a little bit, I think, with opinion. Whenever a third party or a developer has obviously trailered or revealed games coming out shortly on social media for PlayStation, there has been a lot of downvotes and there's been a lot of back into the comments about that Sony for, well, we're not buying it because it's digital and we're not going to be able to keep it, that kind of stuff.
If you are that third party studio, you are fucking pissed because
Oh
you
yeah,
have paid an obscene amount of money to PlayStation, probably, to market your game, right?
yeah,
And their bullshit is effectively ruining the potential sales of your game. And it's not your fault that Sony have made this fucking balls of a decision. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I really feel bad for those studios and the people working on those games. And
absolutely.
it's
Um,
disgusting. I get why people are reacting in that way. I just feel bad for those studios.
I
I mean,
mean,
probably
it's
millions have spent on that marketing.
the
Ridiculous.
theory with that at the moment is that someone made a comment I've read into that it might encourage developers to move away from PlayStation and develop for other platforms instead, where they're going to not get as much backlash. And I think that might obviously, if it hits PlayStation's wallet in their money line, it, I don't think they're going to change their mind. Let's get those out of the room here. I think it's very unlikely. I would hope they would, and there's always I want them to change their mind, obviously, but the cynic in me has seen it enough times that um, if a company is greedy enough, they will do everything until they shoot themselves in the foot so bad that they can't recover. I mean, we've seen giants like Sega who made consoles just become a developer instead for software. You know, it's one of those situations where um, I think there's hoping that people will start to die off. I know they probably won't, but I think they're waiting for people just to kind of die down the voice of it. And I think there's a reason why they're keeping quiet because in my gut, and this is based off some stuff like there's been mentioned over the last 18 months. They've already started to experiment with, and I remember I think they did this today. They were testing about leasing a PlayStation, so you could pay monthly, like a subscription, to have the PlayStation delivered to your home. You would have it over the 6-year period or 5-year period, and then you could like obviously use it, and then you turn it afterwards. So they were doing stuff like that, and I think, and I hope I'm so wrong with this. I think that with the cost of how much these consoles are going to cost, and they're going to want to get an install base, I generally believe that they will probably do it as like you will lease or rent the console when the PS6 comes out. There'll be an option to do that because I there's no physical way that if you've got a game console that's going to be a grand potentially. I mean, it's going to be too much money. I cannot see it selling that well at all.
I can't. We know from subscription services that that shit doesn't work. Remember when you used to be able to buy Microsoft Office for
Yeah.
a set price and you owned it and that was it? Look at how much money people have to spend now, yearly, monthly, and the amount of the more money it costs them in the long run by renting it, by leasing that license, right?
Yeah.
That will not work. And hope people are smart enough to realize that that's just that is not Sony doing it for the benefit of that gamer. They will make way more money off of that gamer because they'll attach, if it's digital only, they'll attach some bullshit subscription service that you also have to sign up for,
Well, yeah, of course,
right, to
because you
get
have to
online access and
pay the
access to everything
console,
else.
pay for
Yeah,
online
and then
membership,
yeah, and pay for
pay
this, and then
for the
pay for that, and then
games.
you have one fee, another fee on top of it, and then another fee on top of it, and then
Yeah.
another fee on top of it, and then that console over let's say the lifespan of 5 years could end up costing you closer to £3,000, right? Than the £1,000 that it might have costed initially to buy it outright. I think what people are going to do, and I actually think that Valve could make a fucking killing here, is people are already talking about PlayStation 5 being my last console, and that with the next gen, I'm not going console, I'm just going to get a Steam machine.
Yeah.
Right. If I've got to be forced to go digital, then the most appealing platform that I know is probably going to protect my library and has incredible sales and I'm able to probably access a lot more games is on the Steam machine. Because let's be frank, other than Sony's first party games, which are becoming less and less of, there really is no other reason to buy a PlayStation because
Well,
most third party games are available on PC.
you don't even need to buy a Steam machine from Steam because they've just done the most incredible thing by releasing Steam OS. So by having it available to all, they can literally people can make their own Steam machines, and literally just your install base will go up because people can just get a piece of kit, put the operating system onto it, and then you've got a Steam machine. Or
What
have
I
they?
think is
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen, and what I predict is Sony. I honestly don't understand the mindset behind any of this. It's like Sony are purposefully trying to tank their own brand, and that they had such a head start with Xbox One debacle. They won the PlayStation 4, like they had so many people jump on with PS4,
Yeah.
and it's like the PlayStation 5. They've just looked for every possible way to tank their business. That's how it feels.
Well,
And literally, I think the PlayStation 5 will be the last console. And I think the PlayStation 6 will tank. I think no one will be willing to pay $1,000+ for it. And I think people will make that move to PC. And what will happen eventually is Sony will go, oh shit, we're going to have to release our first party games on PC as well, because no one's buying any consoles to play our games, and they'll become a software seller, just like Sega.
there's a couple of points that I agree with, and there's other things to consider as well. So just quickly, what you said. So I think I am going to make a prediction that the people who will buy the PS6 will be those who just get one game a year, like your Maddens or your FIFA, which is now called something else, or your
You're
Call of
paying
Duties.
£1,000 for
Yeah,
one game a year.
think about it.
Seriously?
Think
That
well,
one GTA game.
like
Jesus
Grand Theft Auto
Christ.
6. It's
Oh, fuck
because
no.
that's all they play. We know those people who play it all year round. There's content makers who literally just play nothing but Grand Theft Auto 5, or they play
Even to this day, they
Madden.
still do.
Yeah, people. Some people will just play that one game and that's it. They don't play other games. They don't play RPGs. They don't play God of War. They don't play Last of Us. They don't play racing games. They just play that one game they want to play. Sports gamers, all they care about is playing football games online or playing American football or playing basketball. If it's a particular game that, and we've seen it because every year when it was FIFA would come out in like FIFA 14, FIFA 15, FIFA 16. They would move on to the next game. So for them, in their eyes, probably, unless it's like, unless they literally are shafted, which they are anyway. Um, when you go to a new game, you're not going to care about the previous one. They'll just remove it. So for EA and for PlayStation, they know that there's going to be some kind of install base because if they release launch like a Call of Duty or they release like a Madden or a FIFA football game, something big like a live service game like one of those that they know will be bought once a year, they don't care because they'll get the money in that way.
However, there are statistics to disagree with what you just said because the Call of Duty, you would have thought COD is a sure in every year, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Last year, COD fucking tanked because it
it
was a
did.
shit game and they barely did anything with it, and everybody jumped onto Battlefield because it was way better,
Yeah,
right? I think games, new games especially, because of all the bullshit in AAA and the lack of quality, I think people are going, I'm not going to get the new one, I'll just play the old one, right?
yeah.
And there might be people that won't get there will be people that won't get GTA 6 because of the digital only, because of the fact that we haven't seen any goddamn gameplay before they're asking us to pre-order it, and they'll go, I'll just play GTA 5 for the millionth time, right?
Well,
I
I
here's the
don't
won't be playing
think
GTA
these
6
big
regardless.
yeah, I don't think these big titles have as much clout as we think they do. I think that cloud is starting to go. I
I
think I
do.
think as our generation ages, they
Hmm.
have less time for gaming. They're having kids, they're having families, they're doing things. They have less time for gaming. And I don't think new game ever, I just don't think they have as much weight as they used to. I just
I
don't. I don't
do.
think they sell as much as they used to.
I do agree that when you the problem that we have with this scenario is so if we use like say the Madden FIFA argument for a second,
Mm,
with these kind of digital games, so they come out every year and they have the booster packs and it's like gambling. So they will always move to the next game,
mm,
um, and yeah. The problem you have now is like it's been going for like 20 plus so it's been on for 15, 20 years this vicious
mm,
cycle.
yeah.
And I am seeing some cracks, but the problem is that you would have thought by now, a few years ago, with especially how lazy these developers are, that they would have stopped buying these games and um, they would have
Sports
like,
gamers are not the smartest of gamers, Edge. No
but
offense to sports gamers, but it is true. It's like an
but
Oedipus
yeah,
relationship. It's like they like punishment.
but
Because they know nothing better. That's
yeah,
the problem.
but if their next sports game or if their next title that they play once a because remember their mindset, this is the only game that they play, and they will play
Yeah.
it day in day out. They'll play
Mm,
people online. They'll get the packs. They'll play the games, and they do it year in year out. I mean, we can see, for example, with EA they make record profits off the loot boxes and the microtransactions, and like
mm,
you'd think that by now people would have realized these games aren't as good as they should be because it's a monopoly. No one else has made a decent football game rival to them. Usually, I mean, you had Peg. I think not Pega. Is it
Pro Evo,
Pro Evo
Pro
Soccer?
Evolution, yeah.
Um, Pro Evo Soccer, but there's been nothing else
Mm,
that's usually like kind of taken that from them. So if their next game is going to go on to the PS6 and they've been told that they can rent the console and they can get the game that they love playing every year still, there probably is going to be some kind of install base on that. And I think Sony knows that. I think Sony knows that we are still going to have people who will want to play certain titles, and I think that's what they're banking on. I think they're thinking if we have a really good lineup and it's enticing enough, kids are going to pressure their parents to get one, as always. Because
I don't think so, because I think the young generation, maybe Strive's son is the exception because Strive has trained him well, right? But the majority of the young generation now, they are not playing console games. They are not playing Nintendo Switch. They are playing Roblox, right?
Yep.
They
You
are
know what?
playing free-to-play games. They
He
can play on
doesn't
their
go on it.
tablet
He
and a
doesn't go on it
handheld.
as much as I would like, as
Right,
much as I feel like he
yeah,
should.
like
But at the same
yeah,
time, he's just as happy, just sat there watching
yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my niece, like I bought my niece I bought both my nieces a Switch, right? And I'll buy them a game every Christmas or whatever. But when I went home to visit, she's sat playing Roblox and playing slop games, like kind of thing. And I
Brain
don't
rot
get
games.
it. I don't get it. You know, brain rot games effectively. And she can play it on her phone or on her tablet. It's free to play.
Yeah.
Like that is where it is going for the current generation. That generation is not growing up like we did with console games, with physical games that you can lend to your friends, right? And
Yeah.
you can go and rent from a video store, or
I remember renting it from the
right.
video. That was when I first played
dead.
Spyro.
That is dead. Like it is all about like Roblox and Minecraft and it's just that is the way it's gone. So I honestly think that long term, Sony are only looking at the short term game. That is what they are doing. They're looking at the short term gain. Their investors want continuous profits. They've made a lot of very bad investments and very bad choices in games as a live service, right? And it is now
They're doubling down.
Sorry, I'm getting angry, but it is now the fucking player that has to deal with that repercussion and is being punished because they were too fucking stupid to realize that Concord wasn't going to sell shit, right? And they've made other games, but they've made all these really bad calls. Jim Ryan has fucking tanked PlayStation. Look at what they've just done to Bungie, for Christ's sake, right?
Yeah.
And everything else. And Bungie has some of their own responsibilities involved in that. Of course they do, right?
Yeah.
The leadership mostly, not so much the developers, but like it is frustrating because they're not thinking long term. And what is going to happen long term is that generation growing up that are now going into their teens and into their 20s.
Yep.
They don't give a shit about buying a console. They don't have as much money. They're struggling to find jobs and things like. They don't have as much spending money to be able to afford to put down £1,000 or to agree to pay a subscription to rent that console. They are just going to go onto their tablets, their phones, play free-to-play games, play mobile games.
Yep.
That is what they are going to do. And that is the way the industry will go, except the indie scene, because that's unique. But like that is the way things are going to go. And Sony are contributing to making that happen quicker.
It is the indie scene that will stay alive, and I can give you 2 words that will back that argument up no end. Among Us. Really crappy, in like really simple gameplay. Get it on your mobile, get it on your tablet. Later came out on consoles. You're literally just going around and lying to people. But it took off like mad. I mean, even I played it. It was brilliant. But it was one of those ones that, you know what I mean? It was a free-to-play game. I mean, yes, you get it on PlayStation now, and it costs. I don't even know if it costs on your phone or on your tablets anymore, but it wasn't originally. And that's it. And it's just that it is the indie studios that are going to thrive. Yeah. The only problem is there's going to be no games companies left to make consoles to put it on, so it will all be PC.
It'll all be PC. That's the way things are going to be going. And the next Xbox console is going to be a PC. Nintendo will be the only ones in a corner doing their own thing, because just Nintendo do Nintendo. They've always done their own thing, right? And they will still exist, and they are still doing well. I think with Nintendo at the moment, I saw a statistic on Nintendo, and yes, digital sales are increasing, but they're nowhere near what it is on Sony and Microsoft. I think with Nintendo in 2026, end of fiscal year, 54.6% of Nintendo's sales were digital last year, right?
I will say
still a lot of digital, but nowhere near the same. Most people buying physical on Nintendo.
Yeah, I will say I actually don't mind digital. I don't like the bad sides that come with it, but for convenience, digital is phenomenal because I can just sit on my chair and I don't want to play this game anymore. And I could just switch to the next game. I haven't got to get up, find the game, open up the game case, and we've all been there. The game CD is not in the case, and I have to go digging for it.
Yeah.
Which
We've
box
all
did
been
I
there
put
at
it in?
least once.
I've been there many
As,
times.
as long as you've got the hard drive space.
Yeah. Now
That's the thing.
This
should
is
Yeah.
true. This is true. But this
So-
is why Steam works really well because yes, it's all digital. No, they don't take crap down. Not that I've noticed anyway, or not that Edge has ever said to me.
No, not that.
And all your stuff is just there. But yeah, like obviously it's with PlayStation where they're removing content. That's where the trouble lies. If it was all the content was still there, you and I and all of us, we would not even be having this discussion today.
Yeah.
I think also, sorry, I just want to say one more final thing about PlayStation.
Yeah.
With difference to Steam. The difference is Steam have a lot of things that make it appealing to buy on Steam. They have incredible sales. They have a really good refund policy. They have a really great way for users to leave reviews and feedback on games. So it makes it easy for you to have a look and see like if the game is worth it and things like that. But
it's honest
Sony,
reviews as well, because
let's be honest, filter
honest,
out a lot of the crap as well. Sony have none of that. There is no fucking decent refund policy. You can have a refund within 14 days of buying a game digitally if you haven't downloaded and played the motherfucker. Right?
Yeah,
but the moment you boot
that
game up and play it, and if that game runs like shit, you cannot get a refund.
Yeah.
Like and there is nothing on the PlayStation that makes being digital only a valuable proposition other than, like you say, convenience to switch between games, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing. Their sales are crap in comparison to Steam, and they're probably going to get worse now that they're going to have a monopoly. But there's no protection. The refund is it's just not good. It's just not good compared to Steam, you know.
I should probably, so well, obviously the comments at the moment and what we've said, I want to be very clear that I'm not endorsing or I'm not saying that this is just going to happen. I hope I am wrong, but the cynic in me knows that people will just buy shit. And too often we have seen people just let us down as a group when it comes to any like banding together for stuff. I do hope that the message keeps on going, and I do hope that people will just choose to pay with their wallets. Because I know that obviously with Xbox at the moment, I know there's a bit of stuff that they've done wrong. There was the talk at the moment where if you have a physical game, you buy a game physically, you can use that physical game to get a digital copy of that game on the console.
Yeah, some kind of disc reader type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to embrace a few things, and they ain't no saints either. In fairness, they've gone through a lot of stupid stuff. All three companies at the moment in time, from my stance, have for being a console gamer, have ticked me off, and it does feel like I've been forced more to go towards the PC side. From my experience, just to kind of go into it a little bit so you know where I'm coming from, basically since last year, around about January, February, when Monster Hunter Wild came out on PC, I moved over to play that on that. This channel has always, at the beginning, recorded on console. So you used the PS4 and the PS5 to record the gameplay and play the games and obviously do stuff on the channel. And then as time has gone on, I've gone more PC. And since going to play Wilds with Strife and the others, I've noticed that my game playing time on the PS5 has become almost non-existent. In fact, the only time that I played on the PS5 in the last 18 months, specifically myself, has been when Dante came round to the house, when Kate and my wife went out to have a girls' night out. I can't remember what it was for, in fairness, but we played Sonic.
We went to concert. We went to First Direct, I think, to concert. I think. Yeah.
So we played Sonic because there was some for cheapo, I think, somewhere. But that's the only time I've been on the console. Ever since I've been on PC, I've probably bought 15, 20 games easy on. I've got the Steam bug, I guess, because people say when you buy, you just buy a load of stuff. Most of the games you see me play, like the Resident Evil
I've already
2,
contracted that as well.
yeah, like Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, Resident Evil 4 remake a little bit. Um, Most of the titles that you've seen me play and record through playthroughs have now been more on the PC. Like Resident Evil 8 and 9 that I played through were both on PC. And it's
That's
it,
why it was as well.
it's
Most of Capcom sales are PC anyway. I think like
yeah,
93% of their sales is digital. Most of them are on PC. They do
my
very well on PC to Capcom.
yeah, my my stance with all three companies at the moment is if you do not agree with what they're doing, and I know it's really hard because everyone's different, I choose to pay with my wallet and not endorse it or go for it because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
I can't in good conscience do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not biased. I hope I'm not anyway. I know I've had some disdain with Nintendo with the Switch 2, and if you have any of these free consoles, that is not a problem. I don't have any I don't think you're picking what is best for yourself, pretty much, is what I would be saying. Um, but it's also I'm a massive Fire Emblem fan, for example. I'm not touching the Switch 2 to get that. And until Nintendo change some of their practices, I can't. I mean, I can't do it. Same with PlayStation. I won't be buying any more console discs. I'll buy discs of stuff if it's in like an old game shop. But when it comes to anything digitally from PlayStation, I won't be buying anything because you've burned the good faith that I've had in you with you guys over the years. I mean, I played PlayStation, PS2, PS3, PS4. I had a PSP. I've loved every console. Um, Going back to an earlier point that Kate's mentioned, the PS4 won the Xbox One argument. If you look back at previous generation, they dropped the ball hard with the PS3 when it first launched
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
with the cost and everything, and then they kind of redeemed themselves later. It feels like with Xbox and PlayStation, every other generation of console, they just seem to forget what they've learned and just go backwards, and I can't understand why.
The
Um,
moment Sean Layden left, the moment Jim Ryan took over, it was over. Literally,
yeah,
he and his leadership team, right, have led us to where we are now through greed, pure greed.
I
Literally,
It's
that is
always
what's
greed.
been,
It's always
yeah,
money.
that
yeah
is what has been driving them this entire time.
yeah.
Greed.
It's my concern as well is I don't think Sony have finished with the announcements yet. I think they're doing it on purpose so far in advance. Um, I think they're gonna announce more stuff that we're not gonna be happy about, but I think on purpose they're keeping silent just to kind of wait, maybe hope that will die down or that somebody else will fuck up and then we'll be pissed at
I
them.
think they're trying to wait and see what the other big three are
Company,
going to do.
yeah,
I think they're hoping that Microsoft will join in on it and that Nintendo, I don't think Nintendo will. I don't think they will, but I think certainly Xbox for sure. I mean, Xbox has already gone more digital than PlayStation even is because of Game Pass.
yeah,
Xbox owners do not buy games physically. They just get Game Pass and play games on Game Pass. That's been even longer than PlayStation. Really funny thing is because this really for me, this whole physical thing, it really has sort of drilled home just how important game preservation actually is to me. So I've actually been going through and I made an actual like spreadsheet where I like, okay, what games do I own physically, right? And I've like recorded it all
yeah.
right back through to like the PlayStation 2 and everything of the original discs that I still have. And I own in total 210 physical media
Yeah,
in total. And I have actually started, I've been going on CEX and I've been like, right, what other games do I really want to own in my catalog? Okay, I'm getting them secondhand.
yeah,
So not a fucking penny goes to Sony, right?
Must admit, I've got a
And
few physical ones. Like I've got I mean, back when I was younger, I mean, I don't have the cases for them anymore. We all used to put them in those little CD wallets.
Yeah.
I've got a CD wallet upstairs filled with PlayStation 1 games. I've got the full Dot Hack series, but I've still got those with the case. But I've got the full Dot
Nice.
Hack series.
With anime episodes as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
So-
the anime episodes in them as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be my protest. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, you think physical isn't important? Okay, then I will buy games I definitely want to own physically. And I know it's bullshit because a lot of new games it's not 100% always on the disc, and I wish they were more clear on that in terms of like what is 100% on the disc and what isn't. You know what I mean? So I think Blood of the Dawnwalker did an announcement recently where they were like, yeah, 100% of the game is on that disc.
I think
You know, they said, okay, you'll have a day one patch, but 100% of that game is on the disc. And I think all publishers should be doing that. So you can make an informed choice when you're buying that game physically. But I'm so annoyed. I cannot even, I'm so annoyed by this decision. And I
it's
know many
even
people
worse
you know.
because if you've read me, if you're probably aware of it, it's so the backlash has been so insane that already there has been talk that there are several PS5 emulators on the market.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, if ownership is, buying a game is not true ownership, then using
Piracy isn't stealing. Yeah.
Piracy isn't stealing, and I 100% agree with that. If you do not give me options for ownership, then I'm going to pirate your shit.
It's going to be interesting. I think the next big moment of truth is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6 because again, it's the first at the moment.
It's not a normal game, though. It's not a true reflection, I don't think.
But
Like,
it's also
GTA
one of
follows
the
its own
it's
rule.
also one of the only games that some people will play, and that's it. Grand Theft Auto 5. My nephew, for example, he played nothing else but that.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things where I think this will be the true test to see. Well, the thing is, we don't know. Like you mentioned, there's no gameplay. We don't know how good the game's going to be. If they fuck this up, if they generally have a terrible launch, I will be intrigued to see what the backlash is going to be for Sony with this.
I've never wanted a game to fail, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I want GTA 6 to fail. I want it to fucking face plant. That's what I want to happen. It won't happen because unfortunately most average like casual gamer, they're not tied into what's going on in the industry like you and I are. They have no idea what's going on.
I think
But
there's
I want it to fail so hard.
the
Like
thing.
just send a signal.
The thing, if we look at, say, all the big open world games, we look at Cyberpunk, we look at Saints Row. There are similar games that have come out that have flopped hard at the beginning, and they've had massive backlash. So you can't tell me that this game is going to run perfect on PlayStation and Xbox on launch.
You know what I miss the most? I miss games when they came out. That was it. That was the game. It was finished.
Yeah.
It was polished. It was tested. It was done. There was no bugs. There was no patches. There was no microtransactions. You bought the game. That was the game. End of story. That's what I miss the most.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
that will never exist again because of how complex games are now and how many systems are working within games and all the technology. It's so ridiculous. That's why games are taking so fucking long to make. Like honestly, like
I know, but I just miss the days where it was like you bought a game and that was it.
The retro days where like a game would take you like 3 hours to beat it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you'd replay it multiple again and again.
You know the best bit though. You realise, because obviously at the moment it is the retro handheld consoles like the Amberneck and the Power Kitty, things like that. Give it 20, 30 years time, they're going to do the exact same thing that they've just done, but with all PS5 games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guarantee I'll be in the next 4 or 5 years. Next 4 or 5 years, easy.
Yeah.
Technology is getting to the point where that's not going to be 20, 30 years. I'll be like 5, 6 years.
I think as
tops.
well, like the appeal of PlayStation 6 is not the same. Even PlayStation 5, the appeal of PlayStation 5 was not the same as PS4 because the jump from each generation is so freaking incremental. You look at the jump from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, the jump from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, and then PS3 to PS4 with true HD, right?
4 to 5
the
isn't that much different.
yeah, 4 to 5 is not that much different, and 5 to 6 is going to be even less different. So people are going to look at this and go like, well, why the fuck do I need to spend $1,000 or pounds on a console that's not going to really give me anything massively newer, other than maybe a few more frames per second, a little bit shinier 4K, and maybe ray tracing? But people don't care about that shit. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, and that's why people are going to go PC because that's why you incrementally upgrade your PC, right? Like as you go through. But it's
And
just,
you do it parts at a time, so it's a hell of a
yeah,
lot cheaper
it's a
in the
hell of
long
a lot
run.
more affordable. So it's just that every single console generation has been so small and incremental that it does not justify the cost that they are asking for these parts. And it really fucking pisses me off because you've got massive bloody like companies like Microsoft. They're part of the reason we're in this goddamn mess, because of the obsession with AI and the chase for AI and what that's done to kind of like memory, right? And the cost of memory and storage and everything else going on. And this is why they have literally made the situation that we are in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think people are gonna be like, well, look at my PS5, look at my PS6. I'm not going to make that jump. I've got a shit ton of games in my backlog on PS5, right, that I've purchased or that I own physically. I'm just going to keep playing. I'm going to play my backlog forever. Why do I need to buy a new console? I don't need to buy a new console. I've got so many games to play.
Mm.
You know, and you can even look at a game 10 years ago that came out 10 years ago and it still stands up. You know, if you played a game from like the 1980s, you would really be like, wow, this really feels old and retro. You know what I mean? And it would be really jarring for you. But if you played a game that came out in 2010 or 2015, it still looks great and you can still play it brilliantly. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like
And
I said, a
so,
good example of that is Skyrim. How long's Skyrim been out now?
yeah.
I
and
remember when
it's,
Skyrim came out when I was in school.
I was in
is
my
it something
fucking 20s.
Is it sold something stupid like 65 million copies or something? I read somewhere.
It,
I mean,
and
they've
how
released it
many, how
like
many
1
times?
million
How many
times.
times have they released it? That's one I want to know.
So many times. Every single console life, it's come out with a new Skyrim. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's ridiculous. We'll get a new Skyrim before we get an Elder Scrolls 6, probably.
Well, they've already
When
announced that
PlayStation 6 comes out. So,
they've already
yeah.
announced that they're doing a remake of Fallout 3, and
Yeah, I heard that. And New Vegas, which I'm intrigued about. I want to try that
Obsidian
game.
is doing the next new Fallout, which
Yeah, they're
is
doing a
really
Fallout.
good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
arguably New Vegas was the best received.
Do you say Obsidian's doing that?
Yep.
Obsidian's doing a Fallout, not Fallout 5. Bethesda
Okay.
are still working on Fallout 5.
Alright.
They're in
I was gonna say,
pre-production on it, but they're doing like a spin-off Fallout game. Well, New Vegas was a spin-off Fallout
New
game,
Vegas was
right? It wasn't
amazing.
in the.
It's
Yeah, I
I was
heard
gonna
it
say,
was
'cause
good.
I've been playing Grounded, and that's that was
Obsidian.
That's a game I'm interested in checking out. Grounded. That would be a
It's
fun
good fun.
It's
multiplayer
bloody
game.
good.
Yeah, I've
I've
heard
put
it's
so many
great.
hours into it.
I like
It is
Obsidian,
awesome.
so I'm quite interested in checking that out. Although I don't like big bugs, but if they're cute looking, I can deal with it. Spiders, I
Yes.
can't deal with. You know.
Right then.
Oh
So
yeah, then you're not gonna have a good time.
But do they look cute? I'm okay if they look cute.
They don't look cute.
Oh shit! Right, okay, I'm doomed then.
Like you get giant wasps in there as well, and they
Fuck
look
no! I'm
they
out.
look like accurate, like an actual wasp.
Fuck
I mean,
no! I'm
obviously
out.
it's
I'm
cartoony
out.
graphics.
Sorry,
It's cartoony
can't do it.
graphics, but they
No.
look
Can you get
Atomic.
mods to make them cute?
Probably.
Are there mods to turn them into
I
cute little
know there's an
bumblebees?
arachnid. I know there's an arachnid. No, there's already bumblebees in it,
Oh,
and they
okay.
sleep. The bumblebees sleep on the ground and they snore.
That's cute.
well,
It's adorable. But the thing is, yeah, I know there's an arachnophobia mode in it, which just basically turns
Yeah.
them into blobs, but I
Right,
don't know
okay.
anything about the wasps.
Right, okay. Because I hate wasps.
right then. So we have hit an hour and 7 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll end the podcast probably here because obviously we could speak for hours, 100% about this content. And I'm
Yep.
pretty sure we will have a part 2 or part 3 of this discussion coming up. And now this is a live podcast. So at the end of this podcast, obviously, thank you for anybody who's watching. I know there's been no comments this time. However, if you have any questions or thoughts about the situation and you want to share them in the comments below, please do. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. I really do enjoy the debating and feedback on it. Um, please leave some questions below for the next one if you want, or just again your thoughts. We will do another podcast episode probably in August. I think we're now at the point where we're not going to do another one before the end of July. So that one will probably be either about the Steam Machine from Strife.
If it's for me, remember it's probably going to be middle of August.
Yeah, you're on your holiday, yes. So
Yeah.
there will be a podcast episode in the middle of August. If Kate and Dante want to do one with me before then, we
I
try
wouldn't
and
mind doing one on Xbox because I really want to lay into that. And
we
talk
will
about it.
we will definitely do another one about Xbox. And so you've heard it here. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be this month or beginning of next. Watch this space. We will do a schedule for
Chomping
it.
at the bit. I'm chomping at the bit, honestly.
I think that's going to be its own hour.
Yes, probably.
But thank you all for joining. Just to make you aware, so the reason why we've been waiting a little bit as well with Strife getting the Steam Machine is so that we can play a lot more co-op games. Obviously, this channel's been known for doing like playthroughs of Resident Evil with co-op or other games. I've had co-op like the Halo series of Kate before a couple of times, and Gears of War with Dante. So we're going to be playing. You were going to call it a particular word, but then you realised I was going to be derogatory against the developers and their games, didn't you, Strive?
What was that?
You said something about.
Oh yeah, I was going to call it Crap Game Tuesday.
Yeah, but then you realised
But
that'd be harsh.
Well, actually, it's actually terrible Tuesdays or something like that. I was going to call it. Well, actually, a lot of these cheap indie games are actually really
very
damn good.
Yeah, I don't know why
Exactly.
they're calling them. They're calling them friend slop, but slop usually means when something isn't very good. But actually, they're really good. But they're calling them
but the
friend
lingo
slop.
nowadays is
Friend
normally
slop.
a bit topsy-turvy.
Yeah, they're trying to re-own
kids.
that word, I guess.
Where everything's sick and it
So-
means good.
Everything's sicker nowadays, but apparently sick is good.
Now
Slop
that
is a new word for awesome.
now that we have these, it has the Steam Machine, and we can have access to a whole new library of games. Tomorrow, we will be playing live streaming, just a bit of a laugh, a game. I don't know what it is yet. It's going to be either probably Chained Together, Peak,
Or Peak.
or Peak. We do
Okay.
have Power World, but we think that's going to be one that will come later.
I think Power War is probably going to be a bit more solo adventure until we start understanding it a bit more than just sort of joining up and seeing what we do from there, and maybe do a couple of recordings from that.
100% with that one. That being said, if you're interested in watching it, it will be probably from 7 o'clock tomorrow. I will set up like a streaming thing once we know the game what we're playing, and then it will be every Tuesday, I think, because Wednesday we only was doing it tomorrow instead is because obviously we do the podcast today. And
I'm preoccupied tonight with the new Phasmo release.
And also, once a week, I play with N7K, Dante, and Fish, V Rising. So it's usually on a Monday or Wednesday at the moment. So I kind of want to make sure that we're not getting away with that together because we don't record for that. We just have a bit of a laugh and fun with that one. So
Just have fun. Build my
exactly.
castle.
That being said, if you're looking forward to seeing some more live streamings, I've really enjoyed doing it this year with Resident Evil 9 and not so much James Bond, but at least a little bit. Please.
It had its moments.
Well, the fact I ran through a corridor of guns and somehow took them all out with single-handedly, but then I got to one guy and I couldn't even take him out. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, justified.
Yeah. You had to be there. So, yes, have a fantastic evening, all. Thank you so much for joining. Please, if you've enjoyed watching this podcast later on, please leave a comment. I know Owen is going to say something to us on the bottom in probably a few paragraphs. I always enjoy his comments. Harvey, if you're out there as well, please leave comments. Anybody else who's watching, again, please. I do enjoy comments and, in terms of your opinions and thoughts. It'd be good to kind of get that. Have a fantastic evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If not, have a fantastic week, and take care.
Bye bye.
Johnny!